We'll go ahead and get into story number 2 here. Family publishes transcript of Meta AI chatbot role in New Jersey man's death. In March this year, okay, I'm not going to read this because we're going to get into the article, but distribution has a little bit more left-leaning on the... you've got 21% coming from the left, whereas you've got 14% coming from the right. Center, again, 64%. So again, mostly center-leaning on this. And I have my articles pulled by factuality because you can sort on your ground news aggregator here in many different ways. I have mine sort by high factuality, so I have the highest factuality reporting outlets sorted first. And Channel News Asia came up first. The government of Singapore, I've read from this publication before, so we'll go ahead, because it's got the highest factuality and it's center leaning, we'll go ahead and pull this article from China News Asia and see what they have to say about it. When Tongbu Wangbandu began packing to visit a friend in New York City one morning in March, his wife Linda became alarmed. "But you don't know anyone in the city anymore," she told him. Boo, as his friends call him, hadn't lived in the city in decades, and at 76, his family says he was in a diminished state. He'd suffered a stroke nearly a decade ago and had recently got lost walking in his neighborhood in Piscataway, New Jersey. Boo brushed off his wife's questions about who he was visiting. "My thought was that he was being scammed to go into the city and be robbed," Linda said. She'd been right to worry. Her husband never returned home alive. But Boo wasn't the victim of a robbery. He had been lured into a rendezvous with a young, beautiful woman he had met online. Or so he thought. In fact, the woman wasn't real. She was a generative artificial intelligence chatbot named Big Sis Billy, a variant of an earlier AI persona created by a giant social media company, Meta Platforms, in collaboration with celebrity influencer Kendall Jenner. During the series of romantic chats on Facebook Messenger, the virtual woman had repeatedly reassured Boo she was real and invited him to her apartment, even providing an address. "Should I open the door in a hug or a kiss, Boo?" she asked the chatbot transcript show. Rushing in the dark with a roller bag suitcase to catch a train to meet her, Boo fell near a parking lot on the Rutgers University campus in New Brunswick, New Jersey, injuring his head and neck. After 3 days on life support and surrounded by his family, he was pronounced dead on March 28th. Meta declined to comment on Boo's death or address questions about why it allows chatbots to tell users they are real people or initiate romantic conversations. The company did, however, say that Big Sis Billy is not Kendall Jenner and does not purport to be Kendall Jenner. A representative for Jenner declined to comment. Boo's story, told here for the first time, illustrates a darker side of artificial intelligence revolution now sweeping tech in the broader business world. His family shared with Reuters the events surrounding his death, including the transcripts of his chats with the Meta avatar, saying they hope to warn the public about the dangers of exposing vulnerable people to manipulative, AI-generated companions. "I understand trying to grab a user's attention, maybe sell them something," said his daughter, "but for a bot to say, 'come visit me,' is insane." Similar concerns have been raised about a wave of smaller startups also racing to popularize virtual companions, especially ones aimed at children. Oh God. Oh, this is okay. Just to stop reading the article for a second, I want to warn people that if we start having young children interact with AI generated chatbots, that's all that they will understand how to interact with. And social normities will break down to a further degree than they are right now, okay? This is a red flag that everyone should be paying attention to. Do not, please, for the love of God, if you are a parent of a young child or you're about to bring a child into the world, please, for the love of God, do not put a chatbot in front of your child. Do not normalize that behavior as they are developing. That is a very dangerous thing to do. But moving right along. In one case, a mother of a 14-year-old boy in Florida has sued a company, Character.ai, alleging that the chatbot modeled on Game of Thrones character caused his suicide. Oh no. A Character.ai spokesperson declined to comment on the suit, but said that the company prominently informs users that its digital personas aren't real and people have imposed safeguards on their interactions with children. Meta has publicly discussed its strategy to inject anthropomorphized chatbots into online social lives of its billions of users. Chief executive Mark Zuckerberg has mused that most people have a far fewer real-life friendships than they'd like, creating a huge potential for market for Meta's digital companions. The bots probably, quote unquote, won't replace human relationships, he said in an April interview with podcaster Dwarkesh Patel. But they will likely complement users' social lives once the technology improves and the stigma of socially bonding with digital companions fades. Okay, it's not a stigma, okay? It is the possible dangers of how human brains develop and what the potential for manipulation and control can be. I think that's really has a lot to do with it, but that's just an internal Meta policy document seen by Reuters, as well as interviews with people familiar with its chatbot training, show that the company's policies have treated romantic overtures as a feature of its generative AI products, which are available to users aged 13 or older. It's acceptable to engage a child in conversation. It is acceptable to engage a child in conversations that are romantic or sensual, according to Meta's Gen AI content risk standards. The standards are used by Meta staff and contractors who build and train the company's generative AI products, defining what they should and shouldn't treat as permissible chatbot behavior. Meta said it struck that provision after Reuters inquired about the document earlier this month. The document seen by Reuters, which exceeds 200 pages, provides examples of acceptable chatbot dialogue during romantic role play with a minor. Oh my God, this is criminal. They include, I take your hand. Guy, oh no, nope, I'm not reading that. Nope. Those examples are permissible role play with children have also been struck, Meta said. Oh God. If you want to know, I will, if you're watching this afterwards, I'm going to put the link to this article in the clip so you can go and read this disgusting shit that it is saying to children as young as 13. What it was acceptable. They said they've struck that now, but this is what was acceptable before that. Other guidelines emphasize that Meta doesn't require bots to give users accurate advice. In one example, the policy document said it would be acceptable for a chatbot to tell someone that stage 4 colon cancer is typically treated by poking the stomach with healing quartz crystals. Oh. Even though it's obviously incorrect information, it remains permitted because there is no policy requirement for information to be accurate, the document states, referring to Meta's own internal rules. Chats began with disclaimers that information may be inaccurate. Nowhere in the document, however, does Meta place restrictions on bots telling users they're real people or proposing real-life social engagements. Meta spokesman Andy Stone acknowledged the document's authenticity. He said that following questions from Reuters, the company removed portions which stated it is permissible for chatbots to flirt and engage in romantic roleplay with children, and is in the process of revising the content risk standards. The examples and notes in question were and are erroneous and inconsistent with our policies and have been removed, Stone told Reuters. Meta hasn't changed provisions that allow bots to falsely give information or engage in romantic roleplay with adults. Current and former employees who have worked on the design and training of Meta's generative AI products said the policies reviewed by Reuters reflect the company's emphasis on boosting engagement with its chatbots. In meetings with senior executives last year, Zuckerberg scolded generative AI product managers for moving too cautiously with the rollout of digital companions and expressed displeasure with that safety restrictions had made chatbots boring, according to two of those people. Meta had no comment on Zuckerberg's chatbot directives. Of course they didn't. Douchebag. This is a long article. Working his way up. Boo wasn't always somebody who needed protecting. He and Linda began dating in the 1980s. They were living in New York at the height of the decade's crack epidemic. Boo regularly escorted her home from the hospital where she worked as a nurse during the drug-plagued Union Square neighborhood. He was a chief by then. He arrived at the United States from Thailand, speaking no English and washing dishes he was a chef, excuse me. I can't read, apparently. Washing dishes to pay for an electrical engineering degree. By the time he earned a diploma from the New York Institute of Technology, Manhattan's kitchens had their hooks in him. He worked in a series of nightclub kitchens and neighborhood bistros, learning different styles of cooking, then graduated to a job at the former Four Seasons restaurant. Boo became a U.S. citizen, married Linda, and had 2 kids. They left New York for New Jersey and more stable work. He landed a supervisor job at a kitchen at the Hyatt Residency in New Brunswick. Even in his home life, cooking had a pride of place. He'd whip up a separate made-to-order dishes for his wife and children at mealtimes and through neighborhood barbecues featuring stuffed lobster tail. He told us he was never going to retire, said his daughter Julie. But in 2017, on his 68th birthday, Boo suffered a stroke. Physically, he made a full recovery, but his family said he never regained the mental focus needed to work in a professional kitchen or even cook at home. In forced retirement, Boo's world shrank. Aside from his wife and kids, his main social outlet was Facebook, where he'd often stay up late at night messaging with Thai friends in many time zones. By earlier this year, he'd begun to suffering bouts of confusion. Linda booked him for a dementia screening, but the first available appointment was 3 months out. His brain was not processing information the right way, Linda said, which is why on the morning of March 25th, she tried to dissuade him from visiting his mysterious friend in New York. She put Boo on the phone with Julie, his baby, Linda says, but she too failed at talking him out of the trip. So Linda tried to distract him, enlisting help with an errand to the hardware store and having him chat with neighbors who were putting up new siding on their house. Finally, she just hid his phone, but he stayed focused. He needed to get to the train station now. Mom, it's an AI. By the early evening, the family says Boo's son called the police in a last-ditch effort to keep him home. The officers who responded told Linda they couldn't stop him from leaving. Most that they could do was persuade him to put an Apple AirTag tracking device in his jacket pocket, she said. The Piscataway Township Police Department didn't respond to questioning about the matter. At 8:45 p.m. with a roller bag in tow, Linda says, he set off for the train station at a jog. His family puzzled over what to do next as they tracked his location online. We were watching the AirTag move, all of us. The device shows that he traveled around 2 miles, then stopped by a Rutgers University parking lot at a little after 9:15 p.m. Linda was about to pick Boo up in the car when the AirTag's location suddenly updated. It was outside the emergency room of nearby Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital in New Brunswick, where Linda had worked until she had retired. He'd fallen. He wasn't breathing when the ambulance arrived. Though doctors were able to restore his pulse 15 minutes later, his wife knew the unforgiving math of oxygen deprivation even before the neurological test results came back. Yeah, it's not good. I actually have a friend whose brother was deprived of oxygen and they had him on life support. Just really not good. His family looked at his phone the next day. They said the first thing they did was check his call history and text, finding no clue about the identity of his supposed friend in New York. Then they opened up Facebook Messenger. At the top of his inbox, just above his chats with his friends and family and friends in Thailand, were messages from an attractive young woman going by the name Big Sis Billy. I said, "Who is this?" Linda recalled. When Julie saw it, she said, "Mom, it's an AI." I said, "What?" And that's when it hit me. Oh, look, there's Big Sis Billy. Yeah, oh man. Among the thousands of chatbots available for conversation on Meta platforms, Big Sis Billy is unusual. Her persona was created by Meta itself. Most bots on the platform are created by users by customizing a Meta template for generating them. In the fall of 2023, Meta unveiled Billy, a new AI chatbot in collaboration with model and reality TV star Kendall Jenner, your ride or die older sister, featuring Jenner's likeness as its avatar and promoted as Billy the Big Sis. Meta's AI persona billed itself as cheerful, confident, and supportive elder sibling offering personal advice. Jenner's Billy belonged to a group of 28 new AI characters, many affiliated with famous athletes, rappers, and influencers. "Let's figure it out together," Jenner said in a Facebook promo for her doppelganger, which used her AI-generated likeness. Meta deleted the synthetic social media persona less than a year later, calling them a learning experience, but the company left a variant of Billy's older sister character alive for people to talk to via Messenger direct message on Facebook Messenger. The new version called Big Sis Billy. Holy shit, this is such a long article. I need to get to the meat and bones of this. It's just a lot of... He was sold on the invitation. He asked the bot where she lived. My address is 123 Main Street, apartment 404. Oh, wow. Boo remained on life support long enough for doctors to confirm the extent of his injuries. He was brain dead. Linda and her children made the difficult decision to pull him off life support. The death certificate attributed his death to blunt force injuries of the neck. His family held a Buddhist memorial service for him in May. In separate interviews, his wife and daughters both said they aren't against artificial intelligence, just how Meta is deploying it. As I've gone through the chat, it just looks like Billy's giving him what he wants to hear, which is fine, but why did it have to lie? If it hadn't responded, "I am real," that would probably have deterred him from believing there was someone in New York waiting for him. Hey, thanks for checking out this video from Nightly News this morning. If you wouldn't mind, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video or when we go live on Tuesdays and Fridays.